Good morning, y'all. We are live. It is Tuesday, the 23rd of May, 2023, and it's 11 a.m. here in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. And I'm here with Kirsten. Ricky is having a travel day, which surprised me. I thought she was going to be here, but that happens. We'll talk about that later. And yeah, I didn't actually have anything prepared for today. Today has been a little bit of a weird day. I got up earlier than I normally do. I usually wake up early, but I don't actually like get up and start talking to people and having that early. We had an early meeting today with our new
Oh,
social,
that's right.
and so this has me a little bit verklempt. And also, there's stuff going on in the house that usually goes on Wednesdays because I'm traveling tomorrow. And yeah, I don't know how we're going to do the live stream tomorrow. I guess if I have Wi-Fi or if I have even cell service, I may, I may join from my car, or I may join from my phone. Hello, Gary. Hello, Infotainment. We're doing great. How are you? Hope you all are doing well. And
I
so,
was just going to suggest that you do your trip and then me and Ricky will just take over the live stream.
ooh, the cat's away, the mice will play. Sure.
Maybe we'll talk about it.
We can schedule it that way. And if I can join in, then I will. But, you know, this is all set up on my Zoom account. I'm not sure how y'all do that, but I mean, you could, if
Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't think about that either.
you could, and Amy, hello, LOL, indeed. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. So yeah, okay, here's something I can talk about. Um, I may, and this is like very, very contingent, and it's not in stone yet, but I'm certainly hoping it'll happen. I think I've got a good shot at it. I've been invited to prepare an outline for a potential. Hello there, Rude. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly at all, but welcome. It's great to have you here. Um, but So I've been invited to present an outline for a possible TEDx talk, which would be sometime, hopefully like in the fall, at Pepperdine in California. And I'm very excited about that. And I have, yeah, I know you were just there.
But we drove right by it because you said something.
Right, right.
Drove right by the school. And I
Yeah,
was like, where's that dang flagpole?
flag. Did you see the flag? It's like one of the biggest flags in Southern California. It's hard to miss. You didn't see
Yeah,
it?
but I was just like, because we had a car full of people because we were all traveling to the airport together.
Right.
So I
I
was
don't know if
like,
I
gotta
should.
keep your eyes peeled.
I don't know if I should tell this story in public until maybe after my TEDx
I
talk.
would, yeah, I would definitely wait. We'll leave them hanging.
There's a
Just feed them
story that
crumbs.
involves the flag at Pepperdine. Um, and yeah, so the subject, I worked up an outline. I've submitted it already. I don't know, I may hear something this week while I'm in Phoenix. So I'll be talking to the people who have invited me to do this. The subject is using adversity as an ally. And it's interesting because I just went and just started writing a bunch of notes about me and about my life, and I realized that that's like a running theme in my life is I've been presented with adversity, and I've turned it around and used it as a strength. And so I'm gonna just give you one quick little story from all of this, which I think kind of sums it up. Not so much from the perspective of my life, but from the perspective of what this means to me. Many years ago, I had when I was living in Dallas, I had a close friend who was a fine arts professor at SMU, And that's Southern Methodist University for the Muggles out there. It's one of the biggest universities in Texas, and certainly one of the most prestigious. It's in Dallas, and they have a tremendous fine arts program. And he taught painting, a tenured professor, really, really great guy. And he explained something to me which I had kind of known intuitively, but it had never really thought about it. And that is that um, a great artist will use constraints to focus their creativity. And these constraints can be anything. I mean, I once did 50 versions of the most boring song that I could think of in attempts to make it interesting. And that song is the Happy Birthday song, just the music, because at that time the lyrics were still under, they were still under a lot of litigation. That's a story in itself. Um, and I did. I mean, I put it in different time signatures. I used different instrumentation. I gave it different, jazzy feels, hard rock feels. I did one as if it was Jimi Hendrix. Um, and I'll post these at some point on my social media. But here, just a second. And I'm back. But if you think in terms of painting, and if you think in terms of, I hear children, I hear Rugrats. If you think in terms of painting, these constraints could be like the dimensions of the work. It could be the color palette, it could be the types of brushes, the types of strokes. And when you think about it, if you look at like a Van Gogh, you know instantly, you could look at like a small corner of a Van Gogh and know instantly that it's Van Gogh because of the types of strokes that he uses and his very bright and saturated color palette. Matisse's cutouts is another great example of this. If you're into visual arts, Jackson Pollock strip paintings, which I mean I think are amazing. So this is like just a little piece of what this means to me to use constraints as an ally, because your life is a work of art, isn't it? And you can choose to use the adversities that appear in your life as constraints to create a life with a palette of love, joy, and compassion. And it's a choice. I mean, we all have adversities. Um, some of us more severe than others. I mean, mine have been pretty good, but others have had it worse. And yet, I know people. I'll tell you, one of my favorite people that I knew back in the '80s when I was living in Beverly Hills um, was a Holocaust survivor, but not a Jew. He was a German, and he had been a child during Hitler's rise, and he had, like all the children, all the young male children at that time, was forced to join the Hitler Youth, and it just tore his conscience apart. And when he was in his early 20s, he took his wife and they fled. The war had just started. They fled. It took them 2 years to get to Canada. And by this time, his nerves were shot. And by the time I knew him, he was an old man, but he was, his nerves were shot. His wife had to help feed him. This has been his whole life. His whole life was after that event, and it tore him apart. And yet he was one of the happiest, most joyful, most loving, gentle people that I ever met. And he used that experience to just amplify his compassion. And so tonight we're going to talk about what was the what did we call it? What did we call it? Oh, and I didn't write notes on it, but we're going to talk about strategies for. Oh, come on, you have it in your notes, Kirsten.
I thought I did.
We were going to do it last week and we didn't get around to it. I don't remember the title of it. I remember what it's about.
Spiritual self-care.
Yeah, spiritual self-care. We're going to
Okay.
talk about self-care. And you know, especially for those of us in the tech world, we tend to be very up here and not so much in here. And it can stress us out. You know, you were talking earlier about a decision that was made in the business, and you know, did it stress me out? And I'm like, no, that doesn't stress me out. It sounds like a good decision. And I'm listening, you know, to the experts on the subject, and that's what they say to do. I think we should do that. They've had great success, and so you know, stress is a constant in our world, especially if you're in software development or in the tech world. You're being asked to work more hours than there are in a day. You're being given impossible deadlines. You know, they're holding your job over your head like the sword of Damocles. You know, so info entertainment is asking, why do I always feel tired? You know, this may be part of it. I don't know, you know, what you do. Yes, this is live. Yes, this is live. Muhammad. And so so tonight, 1800 Pacific, that is 6 p.m. for the Muggles, uh, from fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. We'll be live. Hopefully Ricky will be here as well. And we will, and we'll talk about self-care and how you can, how I mean, you know, whether you choose to do this or not, how I deal with the stress. And, you know, I've had quite a bit of it in my world recently. So there we go. In other news, I'm on this medication that I've mentioned. It's 5 weeks now. And as of today, I have lost 15 pounds,
Woohoo!
right around, right, just under 7 kilos. Which and you know, I don't know if you've been watching these live streams over the past 5 weeks. You've seen me. You know, it shows up in my face and my neck first. I mean, the belly is
You're
hard.
withering away.
But you know, my clothes are fitting a little better, and you know, I am really excited about this. And you know, hopefully it will solve the health problems. My doctor says that I'm right on the cusp of pre-diabetes, and we don't want that. The
So
plan,
you're pre-diabetic?
yeah, that's what he said. But you know, I pressed him on it. He says, okay, you know, maybe you're like a little bit pre-diabetic. But you know, the plan has always been to live at least 135 years, and I'd really like that to be more like 150. And so, you know, this is part of that plan, is getting all this shit taken care of, getting me into better physical health, dealing with some of my structural issues, my arthritis in my knees and my elbows, and, you know, getting myself back into, you know, good fit shape. When I was young, when I was in my teens and in my 20s, before my car accident, you know, I was in great shape. I danced ballet. I played football. I played baseball. I was in really great shape, and I don't know that I can achieve that again, but I would certainly like um, to have my knees not hurt when I climb the stairs to my bedroom. Oh. In any event, that's what I got here. If you feel like you should get some legit, if you feel tired, you should get some legit tiredness, walk or do intense physical work. You know, that's good. You know, there's a lot of things that work for me. You know, eating does not work for me. Eating anything at all does not help me to go to sleep. But we'll talk more about this evening. Meditation, breathing. I have a really good breathing exercise I'm going to give you guys. Um, you know, focus on gratitude, focus on love, focus on your breath. Your breath is life. And we'll talk more about that this evening. 1800 Pacific, that's 6 p.m. for the Muggles here from fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. Kirsten, you got anything for us today?
No, I just really enjoyed my vacation. And I mean, speaking of self-care, we had like a nightmare of a trip up there. It was just kind of one of those like, what is it? Meet the Fockers, where just kind of everything that can go wrong did.
Yeah. And your destination was a little off the beaten path. So that,
Yeah, so it was just not a very like those small inconveniences added up, and what should have been like 6 hours of travel turned into a 12-hour
there was
travel.
no way you were going to get to that part of the world, and I know where it is, in 6 hours. That was
Well, the flight was only 2.5 hours,
right,
and then the drive was 2 hours.
right.
So 6 hours was giving me like
There's
wiggle
no
room.
way you can get from that airport to that town in 2 hours. Getting out of that airport by itself is an hour's journey.
The
To your
the
rental journey
what
in
was
that airport. It's one of the most busiest, most
the time
obnoxious
we
airports.
figured with the time of day/night that would be helpful, and it was. We did not have any issues. Literally all we brought was carry-ons. We walked out of the airport. I swear the bus to the rental place was sitting there waiting, and only took us like 10 minutes to get over there. I mean, it was like, I was like, okay, like things are
Very
looking
unusual for
good.
the airport. But then once you get on the freeway,
Well, it was just right across the street, so it wasn't a very long, and then we get to the rental place and it was just,
insane.
there were families sleeping on the floor with like small children because the rental car place was so backed up. Like
Yep.
it was a nightmare. It was a literal nightmare. So we did not get where we were going. It
Yeah.
took us 12 hours to get there.
Yeah.
And I was not mentally, emotionally, physically prepared for that in any way, shape, or form.
So if you had asked me, I avoid that airport like the plague. There's another airport in a smaller community. There's direct flights from Love or DFW,
Yeah,
and personally, I prefer Love.
I do
And
too.
yeah, for the same reason. And you'll go into this smaller airport, and you'll see what I mean. From there, if you wanted to, you could get a train to that
That's
small.
what my mom suggested too. I swear I should have listened to y'all.
They have a train, or you can rent a car right there, and you can drive like right up the highway, and you miss all of that crazy. I mean, literally, this is it's this airport, Hartsfield in Atlanta, O'Hare in Chicago.
Yeah,
Uh, those are like the worst airports in America, and this
rightfully so.
I can say which one it is, can't I?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's LAX. LAX is just a nightmare. I grew up right there, and I avoid it like the plague. I fly into Burbank.
Well, and we could have flown into the other option that was closer to our final destination was Santa Barbara.
Santa
But
Barbara,
the price.
yeah, Santa Barbara is different because it's so small. They literally have two terminals, this one and that one. I don't even think,
Right.
and it's I fly in there sometimes when I go to visit my family who lives in Santa Barbara, but most often I'll fly into Burbank and drive, because it's that's Santa Barbara. It's only smaller planes. They don't land 737s there, and it's a regional airport. So no, I don't fly into Santa Barbara. Burbank is the way to go. Take it from somebody who's done this a bazillion.
Oh, and it's like right there.
Burbank?
Yeah.
Oh, Burbank is the way to go. If you're going to that town. And yeah, and it's like I don't know, an hour and a half drive. It's like not even all the way to Santa Barbara. It's not north of Santa Barbara, is it? I'd have to look it up. But
What, Spalding?
yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so it's going to be a 2 hour drive from Burbank, but
Right.
it's so much easier. It'd be so much easier. When you go from LAX, you gotta. I mean, even once you get out of the airport, you got to take the fucking 405, and that's just a nightmare, day or night, going over the Sepulveda Pass. So
It's just, I guess it was nice to finally be in another state that was just as like big and ridiculous as Texas. Because you had people driving from like the other side of California and they were like, oh, it was only a quick 7 hour drive. And I was like, y'all are my people. Y'all are my people. Y'all get it.
when I lived in Dallas, we used to sometimes drive down to Austin to have dinner at Threadgill's, which is gone now. But
God dang.
yeah, I know. It's like that's a piece of history that'll just never again be. But because I loved their catfish. They had the best catfish in Texas. Just straight up,
So
like we'd get in New Orleans.
Dallas to Austin, how long would that take you on average? Yeah.
Yeah, but we would go there for dinner and then drive back home. I mean, seriously.
I swear, youth is wasted on the young. That's for damn sure.
Yes.
Good Lord. Like, oh, I'm just gonna make a 8 hour round trip for dinner.
Says the 20-year-old. I mean, how
Yeah,
was
but I have an old soul.
how,
I think that's why you and I get along so well.
how's it having a meeting with a company that was founded by people younger than you?
Yeah, can't relate.
Those kids are brilliant, though, aren't they?
I know. I'm really, really excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right. So this is what we got for today. We love you all. Have a great day. We will see you same bat time, same bat channel, except that it'll be at a different bat time because it'll be at 1800 Pacific. That is 6 p.m. for the Muggles, right here on the BHG network.
Oh, Porcupine came in with the buzzer beater. He did
Oh, hey, Porcupine.
a purple and a purple heart. And then Amy said, "Thank you so much for the show."
Oh, thank you, Amy. Thanks for being here. We love you. We will see you this evening. It's going to be a good one. You don't want to miss it.
You don't. You really don't. Or we'll find you. Canceled.
I'll sick Kirsten on you. I'll sick her kids on you, even worse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's even worse. And we've got an extra one here. My godson's here visiting, so that's why you hear voices because the boys are still in school until Thursday.
Ours are out of school.
So I've got 3 of them. You don't want me to sick them on you.
All right.
Well, we'll see you later, Bear.